Hi, guys, welcome back to these eternal, final, maybe not final, analysis of the final episode of Shingeki no Kyojin. Welcome back, day three. In fact, it's part three. Okay, I wait just a few seconds so you will join me, and then we proceed. If you didn't follow the previous two parts, it's obvious because they are too long, but they are linked in the description right here. So feel free to join me throughout these long and endless analysis that we're going to do about the last episode. And then, of course, we will go ahead analyzing even the manga when it will come later, etc., etc. And maybe we will never stop analyzing Shingeki no Kyojin, so feel free to join me, subscribing to the channel, and let's see how it goes on these analyses together with you. In fact, you can write me in the chat box whatever you want this time. No more spoilers. So now you are free to write me your thoughts about the finale and everything we are analyzing together today, as much as all the other days. So feel free to join me. Okay, so yesterday we a little bit more a beautiful scene between John and Reiner, as much as many other scenes, because as you could notice, even from the thumbnails, I'm going on scene after scene, telling you what my thoughts are, and maybe have some sort of digressions, because then we start talking about other things connected to the main subjects. So stay tuned and keep on watching because this is pretty interesting. As you could see from the thumbnail of today, I'm trying my best to reach that specific scene that everyone talked about. Yeah, absolutely. That is one of the most disturbing scenes. But before that, let's go ahead with the episode. Are you ready? Let's start. Okay, last time we saw that Falco came together with Annie, Gabi, and Falco to help the others trying to rescue them. And we were starting hearing the first words from Annie, trying to find at the beginning some excuses to be there. And then at the end, she released her emotions, saying that she was glad to be there for many reasons that we know, as much as we heard even Gabi's reasons why to be there. But now it's time to go on. Are you ready? Right. Okay, so we have to thank Kiyomi here, because if Falco is here, is thanks to Kiyomi Azumabito. This character, I have to say, it was quite surprising because if at the beginning we thought that she was just following her personal interests, regarding Hizuru and the rebirth of her land. I want to remind you, for those who don't know, that Hizuru is just Japan. I mean, it's how it's called in Shingeki no Kyojin, Japan. How do you understand this? Is also because of the previous part three of this final season, in which Kiyomi and Annie were talking about what to do next. And one of the sentences of Kiyomi was, "Look, in our land there is lots of raw fish," or something like that. I mean, you eat lots of fish. Yes. But anyway, later after, I have to say that even Akiyomi's character developed in a pretty good way, because even in this case, she could recognize her mistakes, and she said them out loud, as much as I have to say that this character was even having an introspective analysis made by herself, in which she was understanding that not only her mistakes, but even the fact that when you make mistakes, you can say sorry for them, you can apologize, but then they are always there. You committed those mistakes, and there's no way to turn back and to try one more time to repair for them. But thanks to these introspective analyses she made about herself, we could understand how humble she was to understand what she did. And at the same time, she has never stopped from that moment on to help our dear friends. And even in this case, it was Kiyomi's idea to try to see if Falco could fly. And that was awesome because without her suggestion, probably Falco, Gabi, and Annie would have stayed on that ship. Even if I quite doubt it anyway. I mean, I think that Falco would have anyway tried his best together with Gabi to find a solution to reach them. But the fact that Kiyomi um, decided to give this suggestion, that's pretty awesome. That makes you understand that all characters are fundamental, that all characters matter, and it doesn't matter the actual importance that they have. They can contribute to create the story with their actions. That's something pretty relevant. If you think about other characters, minor characters who gave their support to the story, they are quite a lot. So, as you can see, this story is pretty sensational because not only the main characters are creating a sort of evolution for the story, but everyone is contributing to do so. Even the last boy we saw at the end of this episode. About when we will reach there, I think that there will be an analysis specifically to that boy. But okay, let me go on. See, this is so awesome. What Gabi said now, um, it's really nice. I mean, she says, um, by the fact that Kiyomi trusted us and she put a faith on our actions, we have to repay this faith by trying to stop the rumbling. Also, because even Kiyomi felt guilty because she thought that she was the culprit in all these. I mean, she was one of the reasons why the rumbling started. In fact, that's what happened because if she didn't trust Zik at that time, and then if she didn't try to put her personal interests about Izuru on the first place, etc., 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 the rumbling probably would have never started. But I have to say that from season 4, part 1, when she is introduced, even if she doesn't say so much, she's just saying few lines, but you understand. Hi, hello, welcome back. Um, we understand that character might have had later in the future of the story an important role, or let's say a sort of a role that is quite um, increasing throughout the seasons. And in fact, Kiyomi um, is appearing more and more and more the more the seasons go on. So here Annie, she's saying, so where is our no, where's Peak? Come on, Annie. As much as you said that you are glad to be here and you are happy that you finally reached them, can you also say that one of the main reasons why you joined this group is because you wanted to find you wanted to find Armin and see if he was fine. So, but she, as you can see, Annie's attitude. Uh, is always more or less the same. She's not doing it on purpose, but it's a way to defend herself. She was always used to defend herself from others, from strangers, from people who didn't really know her, who didn't really wanted to know her. So even in this case, it's just a part of herself. It's part of her being to not reveal her emotions completely. And in fact, even in this case, she was not able to say, how is Armin? Where is he? No, she preferred to say, where is Pika? Because she doesn't want to feel naked in front of others, and she doesn't want it to be so easyable understandable. Do you understand? Easily understandable? Do you understand what I mean? I think Annie, even after years, she will not change how she is, personally speaking, as a um, way to convey her feelings and whatsoever. I really believe that Annie will always have this sort of shield in front of her to try to defend herself, yeah, from external troubles, or from some things happening. Because if this is how you have experienced for so many years, it's so hard for you to change just because the scenario in front of you is changing. I think it requires a little bit of more time. But anyway, she's so cute when she is trying to avoid the Armin subject, because everyone understood that she loves Armin. I mean, she has a feeling for him, and everyone understood the contrary. I mean, everyone understood that even Armin feels something for her, but no one is pushing this relationship so much. I mean, no one is making funny jokes or saying some funny sentences about it. No, they all prefer to stay silent and see how this goes, because it's quite obvious that they both love each other. So on the other side, I have to say that they are great friends, because they don't want to push this relationship over and over and over again. They prefer to sit down and watch as much as we are doing. Eh. But as you could notice, Mikasa was understanding what was her first question. So she goes straight to the point, and she's saying, look, Armin is in a hard situation actually, because he was captured by this strange titan that appeared. So I like the relationship between these two women, as I told you already in the previous analysis, because starting from season one, they were one against the other one, especially when they were discovering Annie's betrayal. But little by little, you could see the cooperation between these two women, and I definitely think that that was. A pretty nice way to share their thoughts, their intimate thoughts regarding love, because both of them have never talked about love so deeply or so freely. They have always they have always kept their feelings for themselves, without sharing them with anybody. And they have this thing in common. I think Annie was well understood by Mikasa, and you remember this even in the previous final episode, part three, when they are sharing a few sentences, and you see how Annie is embarrassed, but even Mikasa is embarrassed to recognize that she has a feeling for Armin. And I think that she's the only one who can really understand her, because they both have this love for these two best friends. And it's like as if they are condemned to the same sort of curse, a benevolent curse in this case. But I like the way they try to understand each other. You know that in season one they were both too silent. They were not expressing their feelings at all. They were always trying to avoid the subject, especially Annie. But even Mikasa couldn't have the proper words to convey her feelings or to even start explaining them, because everything it was too mysterious. It was kept as it was, even if we as omniscient viewers could understand how much they felt throughout the seasons, until their revelation as real feelings. It took quite a little bit of time, and I liked the way in which these two characters proceeded through the seasons, because little by little, as much as I was telling you in the previous analysis too, um, characters have their own path. They have their own time to reveal themselves, to be faster in some cases and to be slower in others. Um, all characters are different, and this difference can help all the story to be built. And actually, Annie and Mikasa took their own time to develop as a character first, and then to be able to express their feelings. Annie is still too shy to, and she wants to protect what she really feels. While I think that Mikasa opened her heart a little bit more, but I think that the only one here who can understand Annie, that's definitely Mikasa. Absolutely. So I like these sort of um, silent alliance between these two women. And the fact that, yeah, we pass from season one where they were fighting hard. Do you remember? Yes, I announced it even in yesterday's analysis. Do you remember in season one while Mikasa was so brutal while she was defeating Annie, and she was saying, "Now Annie, fall," as if she was. Describing her superiority in that moment, and Annie was falling down under her while she was defeated. And now you see that they could become great friends, because not only the fact that they have something in common, that is love, but even the way in which Mikasa could see how Annie understands her pain of leaving someone behind. Annie did it with her dad, and it was pretty hard for her to not see him for so many years. So she has another thing in common with Mikasa, because throughout the years in which Eren was in Liberio, Mikasa was by herself and she couldn't see Eren for many years. So I think Annie is quite empathetic with Mikasa, because she can also understand her fragility about being abandoned or being sent away or sent far away from the other person. And even I think, yeah, Annie understands even the fear of losing someone dear, that you really don't want to lose. In this case, Annie for her father, or for even the other members of her team, but less, let me tell you honestly. And on Mikasa's side, to lose Eren, to lose the person she loves as much as in season 4, part 3, last episode, the previous episode, when Annie was saying goodbye to Armin, and Armin was waving a little bit his hand. Annie, I think, in that moment understood Mikasa quite a lot. Um, because in that moment she didn't know if Armin could have come back. Of course, now she joins and she can see that everything will be fine. But at that time, she was scared to even look at Armin for the last time. So the only one now that can understand Mikasa's real and deep feelings regarding love is Annie. Yeah, and we would have never expected this. I mean, I would have expected that Armin in the future would have been the one who could have understood Mikasa's mood, Mikasa's feelings, her way to react on things, etc., etc. But it's not true. I mean, from my point of view, Annie can definitely understand her more. And vice versa, I think Mikasa can understand Annie pretty well. And in fact, she's going straight to the point saying what Armin is doing. See, I really like even when Mikasa is saying, please give me your strength. I mean, give me your help in this. I need to rescue Armin. And even in this case, she's not, I mean, Annie replying, she's not talking about Armin as a lover, but she is saying, your childhood friends are always getting captured, aren't they? I mean, she prefers to call Armin as Mikasa's friend and not her lover or a person who she feels something for. Um, as you noticed, what I told you, Annie prefers to not reveal her feelings completely, and she prefers to say that Armin is just Mikasa's friend. But I have to say that she is also saying that Armin is Mikasa's great friend based on what happened even in season 4, part 2. Because do you remember when they were all surrounded by, I mean, when they were all creating a circle while in the middle there was the fire, that beautiful episode in which all of the regrets were revealed and even their resentments, apologies, and whatever. I mean, the main discussion of the entire story was happening in that episode. Do you remember that Annie was asking Mikasa's help to save humanity on the other side of the ocean and to save even Annie's father or all the people who were on the other side? And Mikasa gave her help in this. So now it's the time for Annie to return the favor back. Once she noticed that Mikasa little by little changed her mind, not because she wanted to abandon Eren, but she decided to cooperate to save humanity. And and Annie noticed that how much Mikasa changed her point of view in all the story. Annie now thinks, okay, Mikasa helped me at that time when I asked her, when I was begging her for help. Now it's my time to repay the favor to her and help her saving Armin. Of course, she's saving Armin and all the others. Armin because she loves him, and all the others because they were comrades before. Look at the Reiner, for example. Look at the Peak. I mean, we are not talking about Armin specifically, but right now Annie wants to be fair and say, if you helped me, now it's my time to help you. So I find this pretty nice. Not just as a cooperation between women, because it could have happened even between two men, but um, I like these aliens that was created from this moment. I mean, from the final season going till the end. Okay, yesterday I was thinking. I mean, while I was off camera, I mean, while I was not on live streaming, I was thinking something else. Uh, Despite what I told you in these previous two analyses, because the more I keep talking, the more I can have new ideas, and I can think about something different, etc., etc. The Titan that was englobing Armin in this episode actually seems to be captured. I mean, Armin seems to be captured by this Titan who seem to be controlled by Ymir. And in fact, we see Ymir. But this Titan actually is created thanks to the Hammer Titan's power. That means that the owner of the Hammer Titan's power is Eren. And at the same time, we don't need to forget the fact that Ymir is the one who's helping creating the Titans for the person who wants to use the Titan's power. So actually, in order to create all of those Titans on top of this skeleton, we need Ymir's help to create them. But on the other hand, this could be wrong because since Ymir granted all of her power to Eren, now Eren has this ability to create the Titans on top of the skeleton. Do you understand what I mean? So, who was the one who decided to capture Armin thanks to that Titan? Ymir, because is it Ymir because Ymir wants Armin to meet Zeke, and she also saved Zeke at that time, so she's doing the same thing because Armin and Zeke have to talk together in order to contrast later the other Titans that are on top of the skeleton, and in fact Bertold and all the others are rebelling against Eren's creations, let's say. Or was it Eren, thanks to the Hammer Titan's power to create that Titan, to englobe Armin, because by knowing how the story has to go on, he needed Armin to meet Zeke, and then Zeke was about to be killed to stop the rumbling, etc., 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 because this is how that Ymir was enslaved, let's say, by all the future Titan owners to create the Titans while they were supposed to transform. And this slavery should end when Ymir can rest in peace. So her ability to create with that special sand these Titans, it's not over until she's resting in peace. That means that Ymir gave Eren the power of the founding Titan completely in order to start the rumbling, but she didn't give Eren this ability, let's say, to create Titans. She is still a slave of him until he will be defeated, and in fact, she will be able to rest in peace. So let's say that Ymir is still a slave because she's creating these creatures. But at the creatures, I mean, these previous Titan owners. But at the same time, I really believe that she is still struggling. I mean, Ymir is still struggling to find her final answer. That is, let me search for real love, if it really exists on this world, and not as much as I suffered throughout the years. So I prefer to believe that okay, Eren controls the Titans. Yes, this is another thing. If Ymir can use that special sand to create the Titans um, for Eren, because that's his request. I mean, his request is one, and she's obeying, trying to create the Titans for him. But then we have to say that these Titans made thanks to the Hammer Titan's power should be ruled, should be controlled by Eren and not by Ymir. So I don't understand why this Titan that is englobing Armin seems to be controlled by Ymir, while all the others should be actually controlled by Eren, because he is the founding Titan, so he can move the Titans as much as they want, as much as he wants, as much as the colossal Titans of the Rumbling that they move because of Eren's will. But that Titan that is englobing Armin seems to be rebellious. I mean, seems to not be controlled by Eren, but he is controlled by Ymir. So I don't understand this. Does Eren want that Titan to englobe Armin too, or is it his request, or Ymir can control that particular Titan's owner, I mean, a previous owner or previous owner's form? That's a question mark to me, sincerely. I mean, I don't understand these small thing, but I will keep guessing as much as I go on, for sure. Because I really believe, as much as I told you in the previous analysis of yesterday, that Peak was stopped. But see, even in this case, Peak is stopped by the will of Eren, who created that Sensu no Kyojin to stop her and not to kill her, because it was not the proper time to let Eren's neck explode. Or even in that case, Ymir was involved over there with that Sensu no Kyojin, because she is the one who's using that sand. So can she even determine, or can she even try to control these Titans? But as a resolution, I mean, as a answer, this could be impossible, because Ymir granted all her power to Eren, so she is, of course, no more the founding Titan. And definitely, this has to be controlled by Eren. So, okay, let me go ahead, because this is pretty interesting. Okay, ah, now Levi is saying it's time to split. I mean, one group goes to the colossal explosion. I mean the explosion of a peak. So one group goes there, and the other group goes to the tail of this skeleton to try to find Armin, because right now that Titan is running away in that direction. This reminds me the moment of a season 3 part 2, when I don't know if you remember, well, of course you should, when they had to choose between Erwin and Armin. In that moment too, there was a sort of a split, and if you remember, even in that case, Mikasa was taken away while she was crying a lot, and even Eren was taken away while he was crying a lot, always because Armin was involved in that situation. In fact, Levi had to choose, and even in this case, Levi is ordering them to split and to move some of them. They move to Armin's direction. In this case, it's totally the opposite. But I like the moments in which they split, because you see the anxiety, you see the fear, you see how frustrated is this situation that they don't even know if they will survive, if they will see them again, I mean, each other's eyes again. There is this moment of pathos that I really like, sincerely. And I think that Mappa created it pretty well because you can see from their facial expressions all these kind of emotions. They were well depicted, absolutely. But I always imagine Mikasa's feelings more than the others, not because the others don't matter, but because right now she's going on the opposite side of Eren's neck, and she fears this thing the most. I mean, the fact that she can't be able to meet Eren anymore and to try to talk to him, even if she knows that Eren will not change his mind, but the fear of losing him, she's still not ready, not properly ready, let's say, because later, in the end, I mean, in the last part of the episode, you see how convinced she is. So as I told you, we need a step by step to reach that moment, but there are some pieces of the puzzle missing. It's not over yet to reach the moment in which she's going to cut his neck. So I think that uh, right now we can feel Mikasa, how Mikasa feels. She is going towards Armin's side. I mean, she's going to check where Armin is and help him to come out from that Titan. But at the same time, it's like, where do I go? If I go there, I will lose one probably. If I go on the other side, I will lose the other one. So Mikasa is in the middle right now, and anyway, there is the chance to lose one of the two, and it's not something easy to handle as an emotion, as emotionally speaking. Yeah, yeah. Did you see? In fact, I mean, you can't see it, but Mikasa's face is because she has to go, and Levi can't admit, no, I don't want to go, etc., etc. No, she has to go. So this reminds me exactly season three, part two, when she had to leave Armin almost burned alive, no, burned alive, and even in that case, Levi chose what to do, and they couldn't refrain from going away. And I remember even in that moment, Mikasa and Eren crying hard while they were separating from Armin because they were not sure if he would have been chosen or not. But when we reach a certain moment, I will pick season 3, part 2, when Eren waits until, I mean, when Armin wakes up, Eren's reaction, because this is important for the story. Let's go on. At least Levi is honest. I mean, Levi has never showed his emotions until this final episode. And I was really happy when we will reach that moment in which you will see him crying. But I really like um, the fact that Levi finally could describe his feelings. And as he has always been, Levi was a type of character that was rude, or let's say too cold outside, but pretty honest, because he didn't like to go all around with the discussions. I mean, he preferred to go straight to the point, as always. Even if these would have caused pain or confusion, whatever. I mean, even when he had to say to Erwin, no, you stay here and you die, forget about your dream. That was pretty rude. I mean, it was cold as a behavior because he was telling to his commander in that moment, forget about your dream and go and die. It was not easy for Levi to be that cold. And in fact, later we see how much he suffered for what happened, even if he doesn't have regrets at all. And yes, that's why I wanted to reach that moment too. But even in this moment, in this scene that we are analyzing, Levi is pretty honest. He is saying, "Look, we don't have the luxury to think about Eren anymore, or we have never had it from the beginning." Do you remember these? Goes back to season 4, part 2, when Levi is confronting Zeke for the second time, and he is in the forest surrounded by all these comrades who are transformed into titans because of Zeke's scream. Even in that moment, Levi was thinking about Eren. Oh, no, not in that moment, even before. I mean, before uh, Zeke runs away and then he screams. If you remember, Levi is talking after he knows that Pixies wanted to have a certain plan, etc., etc. Levi was thinking about what happened so far. I mean, he was thinking about look at that. I mean, we have always saved Eren. Many comrades lost their lives because we wanted to save Eren. But look at now, because Eren was saved by us, but what was the point of saving him if now he caused this massacre? I mean, this genocide. Um, why did we save him? We thought that he was the savior of humanity, that he could save us as a humanity, while then he turned into the destructor of humanity. So, what was the point of doing all this? Um, I like when Levi is honestly analyzing the situation, no matter how hard it is to analyze it. But I like this way in which Levi is not refraining himself from seeing reality as it is. Even if it's scary, even if it's too painful, but it's like as if Levi can handle this pain until we reach the end of the episode, in which we understand that finally Levi is releasing, finally, after all these years, his dear feelings into a tear, or I mean, crying. But I absolutely like Levi as a character. I have always liked him because while for other characters it was easy to cry, to scream, to um, convey their emotions externally speaking, for Levi it was always hard. It was like as if since he was a child, he had lots of traumas that developed throughout the years, and the more the trauma was becoming bigger, that means losing people in front of his eyes. That is not something easy because if we compare Eren's experience, and we will talk about it later in another scene, if we talk about losing dear people, Levi is a master graduation in this. But as you can see, the reaction between Eren and Levi losing the people in front of their eyes is completely different. They have two different ways of handling pain. But I have to say that Levi is even a courageous character because he's facing his emotion, but he doesn't even want to let these emotions prevail on him. and he also keeps moving forward. So sometimes when I have to make a parallelism between Levi and Eren, I find lots of similarities, even if the attitude towards pain, towards losses, is completely different. And yeah, I like this character for many reasons. Now I'm just making a list of some of these reasons, but yeah, even in this case, Levi is brutally honest, and he is saying it out loud. We don't have the luxury of thinking about Eren anymore, or maybe we don't have it from the beginning. So maybe these sentences were too rude to be heard in a situation like that, but I wanted to praise his honesty, because most of the times, even in our real world, we have the difficulty to face reality. We have the hardship to face hardship, to face difficult moments, and to stand up and recognize them. Levi is like a light, like a lighthouse. When you are trying to point this light to the sea, and the sea is pretty dark, you know. Um, yeah, we needed a character like Levi, even Levi has some other regrets, not for the choice between Erwin and Armin. And later, I will totally agree when he will say it, because I totally agree with him. But I think that he has some other regrets. And at the end of this episode, he will finally rest. But we will talk about it when we will reach that scene, of course. In the meantime, let's move on. Let's see, Mikasa is not ready yet, as I told you. While she, okay, let's say for in some moments she feels ready, because she says, "I'm strong," and in some other moments, Mikasa is showing her real fragility by saying, "No, but please don't tell me that this is the moment in which you will kill Eren," or something like that. In fact, she said, "But like, no, don't tell me that now it's the moment. I'm not ready." See, even for Mikasa, it's quite hard to handle this situation emotionally speaking, because there is an alternation of emotions that she can't control, and she's really human. I like Mikasa's character because she's really human, and she doesn't want to show, especially in this final season, that she's the best, that she can do everything. No, there are ups and downs that are typical of a human being, and that's why I like the description that it was given to her in this final part, because we would have if we recollect, we if we're sorry, we reconnect with the Mikasa of season one. She was always sure about the target. I mean, she was always sure about when to attack, what to do, how to solve these, how to attack for others. Do you remember when she was standing even in front of Armin and all the others, and she was saying, "I am the strongest," or I think yeah, it was season one after yes. She said, "I know that I am the strongest here. Time to go." And she was going, and all the others were following her. Do you remember? After Armin believed that Eren was eaten, yeah, and even in that case, you could see Armin's fragility, saying to her, the fear of saying to her that Eren was gone, even if we know the contrary. But what I'm saying is that you saw in season one Mikasa's personality related to a moment of fighting, and a moment to decide without even thinking, because she knew the target very well and she was ready to go and do it. But in this case, there are emotions involved. So these ups and downs that are causing her unsureness, it's absolutely human. And I really really like that side of hers. She's showing that in one moment she's ready and she's strong, and in the moment after she's fragile and she doesn't want to do it because her lover's life is involved. So she's not coherent in this moment as a behavior, how to behave and what to do, but it's pretty normal. It's natural. And here we hear how Connie is against Mikasa for the second time. How Why do I say for the second time is because if you remember, um, she was reluctant to try to go against Eren, even in season three. Sorry, even in season four, part two, when Connie was telling her, look, Eren is no more Eren. We can't find that Eren of before as before. And while Sasha died, he was laughing. I mean, Connie had a vision of Eren that was then debunked. But okay. And he also was saying sorry for those words and for the fact that he noticed an Eren that might have seemed the wrong one. But I wanted to underline the fact that Connie can't stand, he doesn't like when Mikasa is overprotecting Eren, even if others are losing. I mean, they are losing their lives. It's like as if, from Connie's perspective, Mikasa is always paying attention on Eren only. All the others can lose or the others can die, but if Eren is alive, for her is everything. Connie can't stand these way of seeing things from Mikasa's point of view, and every time he feels, I don't want to say disgusted, but he definitely is against these things. And even in this case, as much as at that time, he is saying, "But what? Did you see what's happening around here? I mean." He's saying, but what? Falco is being able to fly. It's a miracle. Without that, we'd be already dead. That means, Mikasa, wake up and try to understand the context. From Connie's point of view, he wants to say, I understand that you love Eren, but I also love my mom, but I don't stay next to my mom and let my comrades die, for example. See, Connie has a different vision. He loves others and he wants to protect others, but at the same time, he is conscious of what's happening. And at the same time, let's say that Connie can't understand Mikasa, and maybe in that moment, he is too honest with her, but he is also a little bit superficial because Mikasa has on her shoulders the burden of killing Eren. And I don't think that if we asked Connie to kill Sasha, for example, if Sasha was turning into the Shubino Kyojin and Connie had to kill her, I don't think that Connie would have made it so easy. I think that even for Connie would have been hard to make a choice, but until we don't leave a specific person's situation, we can't judge so easily. So I think that this comment from Connie is honest, brutally honest, but at the same time a little bit superficial. That doesn't mean that I want to excuse Mikasa, because Mikasa right now, by refraining from moving and do what Levi said, she is a little bit childish. I mean, she's using a childish behavior because she's always thinking about her feelings, stepping away from all the others' feelings. But I can understand her, because when feelings are involved, you are not lucid, you are not rational enough to make right choices. And while in season one, when she had to defeat Kyojin, I mean, when she had to defeat the Titans, for her, it was pretty easy because. Absolutely, Eren was not involved, Armin was not involved, the enemy was somebody else. Now she is standing in front of the enemy, and that enemy is the one she loves. So the perspective is totally different. And that's why Connie can't understand this. Connie is a friend of Eren, but he can divide the two things. He can split them. But I think that if instead of Eren he would have founded Sasha, maybe Connie would have understood Mikasa a little bit more. It's always based on our personal experiences, if we can relate to them or not. Most of the times, if those experiences don't involve our feelings, then it's easy for us to judge. When we are emotionally involved, then it's a little bit difficult. In fact, even John said that we couldn't accomplish anything. That means, look, we tried our best to talk to him. He didn't want to listen to us. We tried multiple times to reach him, but we couldn't reach to him. So now, Mikasa, what do we have to do? I mean, even John's point of view is quite coherent, and it's pretty rational, because John can love Eren as a friend, let's say, but he can't love him as a lover because he loves someone else. But okay, but by the way, even Levi says, "Look, I have so many things to tell you to that idiot." Mm? And even Connie, immediately after, he's saying, "I don't want to give up on Eren either, but our situation right now is unbelievable. We can't do anything anymore." So I like when they are all telling their opinions to Mikasa, trying to include her in their view. Um, and at the same time, I like that sometimes they are even brutally honest, because they need to be like this. They need that Mikasa understands how far they are going and what they are risking, to wake her up, let's say, from a state of mind that is emotionally confused, emotionally deceived. And it's like when a person is making a mistake and the other person is shaking her in front of her, and saying, "What are you doing? Do you understand? Please wake up." So now Mikasa is going to be awakened by her friends. And little by little, she will recognize that her love can't win despite the loss of everyone. That love can reach a certain point. That love is not unlimited for some reasons. You can't stand on love side when on the other side you see too much pain. But for her to understand these, it takes just a little bit more time. But I like that her friends are trying to awaken her, because she really needs to be awakened. And it's painful, it's hard to handle, but she has to step away for 1 second from love. That doesn't mean that she will never love again, but she has to start feeling or being rational again, even if it's hard to be so, but she has to try. See, Connie is saying to Mikasa, look, even the captain, that means Levi, can't even fight because of me, because of me standing over there and feeling powerless, and Levi helped me. So he lost the ability to walk, to move, to run, to do anything, okay, or to fight. And then Connie is rational, as much as he can, because he's saying we are against the founding titan. He's not even calling Eren. We are against the founding titan. So what do we do? We were supposed to save humanity, but if we die, how can we save humanity? Let's say. And then, first of all, I wanted to analyze even what I see. I like Mikasa's eyes that are open. It's like as if she is facing the truth about what to do. And I like that Mappa is always underlining emotions through eyes. That's their greatness, in my opinion. The way in which she's opening her eyes, and immediately after you see Falco as a bird flying, and there is a moment of silence. I like these things because we know that what's coming after. We know John's statement coming, but that silence before John speaks means quite a lot. It's a silence of, um, how can I say? It's a silence that defines that Mikasa is afraid of hearing what she's supposed to hear really soon. A silence of recognition because she's recognizing that she can't do anything else rather than killing him. A silence that means, look, we tried all our best, we tried everything, but there's nothing we can do anymore. There's nothing else. So, like a resignation. And this silence has a multiple meaning to me. And I really like, not just in Shingeki no Kyojin, but in many other anime and many other Japanese movies, I like the silence between a scene and another one, between a sentence and another one, because usually, yeah, Japanese people like to make the silence speak instead of words. All these kind of silences are can be translated into words, and they are pretty powerful because you realize that sometimes you don't need words to express something. Sometimes even silence can speak more than words, and this is the case. um, yeah, I like that in anime, or yeah, in manga maybe it's a little bit difficult to represent these. Maybe I don't know, when I will check the manga, we will be here analyzing. I will show you even the pages, so no worries. But I think that, yeah, Japanese people like to express what they seem to not be able to express into silence. That's something that I really really agree with. Yeah. Eh, look, I don't want to be in John's position. Oh, you love silence too. Okay, I'm happy that I'm not alone in this. um, then there is one of the hardest parts here. Um, I think for John, this is pretty heavy to say. Not only because John lost his best friend, John, that means Marco, not only because John lost even Sasha, and we know how important Sasha was for John. So John knows what does it feel to lose someone really dear, someone that is like a soulmate, someone that you wanted to treasure forever. So for John, it's really hard, painful, uh, mischievous to say what he is about to say. Even because we don't have to forget that John had a feeling for Mikasa, and John knows very well that he is not corresponded. But he has always respected Mikasa, even after being, let's say, friend zoned. He has always respected Mikasa. He has always respected the feeling that Mikasa has felt always for Eren. So for him, for John, it's really hard to put Mikasa in a situation in which she has to ask her, in which he has to ask her to kill him. That's not something that he would have liked to say. But we are reaching a point in which there's nothing else to do. And I understand that maybe Mikasa didn't want to hear what she's supposed to hear, but on the other hand, no one had the right guts. I mean, the right courage to say that sentence. John said it. Um, so I don't know. For example, I want to say that in season one, we noticed how much Eren was against the John. We noticed this in many, many different scenes. Um, so even in that case, I wonder. No, I can't tell you now that idea. I needed to reach a specific scene to let you understand what I mean. So I will skip it for a second. But Eren has always been against John. Is there a reason? I mean, we know that Eren saw the future, saw everything, let's say, that was happening after he kissed Historia's hand. But if in that present time I kiss Historia's hand, and at the same time I see everything that is the future, then past, present, and future they collide. I mean, they stay all together. But from that moment, I can go, let's say, in the past and influence some moments in the past, and I can go to the present and try to influence some things from the present time, etc., etc. What I'm saying is, what we saw in season one, season two, season three, some statements or some sentences that were said, that for us they are in the past, for sure, but when we were watching them, it was the present time. Could they be influenced to to make the story go as it was, as much as Eren is speaking through Kruger to Grisha? Can Eren speak, the Eren from the future speak through himself to make some sentences in season one, in season two, in season three that are effective to create the rest of the story as it has to be? This is what I am thinking. Because when we will rewatch Shingeki no Kyojin, I think that we will reach a moment in which we can probably think, oh, wait, at that time, when Eren was saying that sentence, was he influenced by himself from the future or from something else that is ordering the story? Because in the previous episodes, we were calling it the Eren of the future. But now, can we call it the Eren of the future, or can we call it as something like the universe that is ruling everything and you can't change anything? This future is chosen by whom? By Eren of the future that can put past, present, and future all together, or by something more almighty? Let's say that it's ordering the world somehow. I don't want to say God because, okay, for some people it can be God, but in Shingeki no Kyojin, to be honest with you, we don't talk about God so much. There are two moments in which God might be involved. One is when Onyankopon is answering Armin's question, and second of all, when you see in this episode people praying in front of a temple. We don't talk about God so much in this story. So I don't want to put as an ultimate definition of this thing that is ordering the world God, but or yeah, we can call it destiny, sure. Um, but yeah, I I think that some sentences, if Eren had the power to influence sometimes Kruger with the sentence of Amicus Armin and all the others, Grisha with the decision of killing the race family. Could Eren from the future influence even himself by saying some certain sentences or by behaving in a certain way? When we will rewatch Shingeki no Kyojin, I think that we will have the opportunity to guess, I mean, to stay here and say, okay, guys, we have this sentence said by Eren. Did he say it because he was influenced by the future, the future himself, or not? So this story, even if it's over, but it's not over completely, because now after we analyze this episode we should go and watch the entire story. one more time, because now that we have all the elements to analyze how lavish, hello, now that we have all the elements to analyze the story from the beginning till the end, after we watched this episode, we should start watching Shingeki no Kyojin from the beginning and to see or to interpret some things that couldn't be revealed till a certain point. And we will do, I mean, I will actually do it. If you want to join me, good. If you don't want to join me, I will do it anyway. Okay, let's go ahead. By the way, yes, Gianna now is saying something hard to say. And we know that John and Eren in season one didn't have um, the vision, a good vision of John in season one. Do you remember? If John said, Mikasa, you have a long hair, Eren said, cut your hair. He was always fighting against John. He couldn't stand John at all. So, even in this case, now I want to say the Eren of the future could see or could influence the Eren of the past by knowing, of course, that John would have tried to detonate, to let the bomb explode on his neck later. And then he tried to say to Mikasa, please kill Eren. And then probably in the future they stay together and they have a family, probably. But and Eren even is saying, I don't want that Mikasa stays with another man. So what I'm saying is, when Eren kissed his story as a hand, in that moment we were watching season 3, part 2, and for us it was the present time. In that moment, Eren could see everything that was happening later in the future. Almost everything, not everything. But let's say a good portion. Once he understood everything, we know that he tried to influence, of course, even Grisha by telling him to kill the Race family. He also went to the Kruger time to say, please, if you want to save Mika's Armin and all the others. So could he influence even himself of the past by saying certain sentences, or could he influence actions of other Titans owners, because by having later the ability to use the founding Titans power to connect all the Titan owners to the paths. For example, from the future, Eren could influence Armin to show the book to him. As much as he influenced, let's say, Dinah to skip Bertold and go straight, I can also influence from the future Armin, because he is connected to the paths by being the Colossal Titan. I can influence Armin to show me the book and make me dream and make and write the story as I want, as it should be. Can I influence Grisha to behave wrongly to Zik? Because if I influence Grisha to behave wrongly to Zik, then Zik one day is going to betray Grisha. Grisha is going to reach that shore, let's say, that port. He's going to meet Kruger, and then Kruger is going to tell him to go there. I mean, is Eren the creator of this story? Even, I told you 2 days ago, even Ymir opening the gate of the peaks, she is connected to the path. So if Eren from the future influenced that moment because it was the beginning of the story. I mean, I'm not saying that is correct. I'm just giving you some hints, my personal view. I want to underline this. I'm not 100% correct. I'm just trying to guess, try to tell you what I'm thinking. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, but could he influence? Okay, now this is really stupid, but could he even influence Historia to have a baby with that farmer, even if the farmer was throwing her rocks? I mean, I don't know. To have a baby, I don't know. But as much as he could erase memories and collect things, influence others, erasing memories, and then influence others, and then erase memories. Did he erase other memories that we will never know? Because Isayama didn't explain. I mean, he showed us that he erased the Mikas and Armin's memories in a certain specific moment, but maybe that's a hint. Even if I don't show you how many memories Eren deleted and give back, etc., etc. Yes, Historia said, "No, please don't delete my memories." Maybe, but Isayama is not in the position that he has to explain us everything. We can guess. We like to guess. We are still here talking about this. So it means that he made a good job. If the story was too clear, that was a normal story with all answers. But personally, I don't like to have all answers because I like to guess, as you see. I mean, we stay here hours and hours and hours and hours to talk about these, and we will talk and talk and talk and talk and talk more throughout even the next year. So think about it. Sometimes I'm thinking about it sincerely. If he influenced some things, not everything, of course, but some things to try to make the story as it should have been. Then in this episode, he is also saying that he tried multiple times to change some sort of things, but he couldn't because the story was already written. Okay, but this is a little bit different from what I'm saying. So if he tried to modify somehow, no, it's not so different, but because if he tried sometimes to modify the story, but he couldn't, it means that he tried to influence some people, and not just Grisha or Kruger. I don't think that he could have influenced just the people who have the Shingeki no Kyojin. No, because he is the founding titan. He has the power to erase memories, even to Historia, that is not a Shingeki no Kyojin. So he could have create confusion, maybe, to us viewers too. Can you mean? I mean, he's confused at the first, but he also confused us. Let's say he confused even other main characters because they didn't understand what Eren was doing. So that's a great story because we don't have a final answer, sure answer for everything. I personally like these. Levish, I'm reading your comments really quick. I've been watching new people coming to appreciate Attack on Titan since it ended, and they are reacting to the whole series for the first time. It's been amazing. Some of them are bringing it so fast. Yes, exactly, because this is the power of this story. Maybe some people were waiting the end so they could react to everything once in a row instead of waiting years and years to react to it. So I also appreciate that new people try to get in touch with this story, and I hope that people are not superficial enough to judge a story that is just based on Titans. The Eren is the villain 100%. There's no way that he did other things for other purposes. I mean, or that the people are judging Eren as an anti-hero or an antagonist only just because then he's transforming into the Shubi no Kyoji. Yes, there is even that line, that path as a reason, but I hope that they see this story entirely and that they try to dig a little bit more, and they try to catch not only what they see, but they try to test their mind to explore this adventure with different eyes, with different points of view. Because if you have a unique point of view, you are wrong. I mean, if you follow this story, you understand that if you stand on one side only, and if you have one opinion only about the story itself, you are wrong. So you should be able to extend your view as much as you can. Then the fact that sometimes you might be wrong, that you are not saying the proper thing, and you're just imagining it, it's fine because this story has an open ending. So just by having an open ending and just by not giving us all proper answers gives you the possibility to think. And if you have the possibility to think, it means to me, it means that you are alive. If you stop thinking, you are dead. That's what I believe. So this story that it's giving you the chance to find the new options, that it's entertaining, I mean, I entertain myself to keep trying understanding this story as many others. Of course, those many others who deserve to keep going on thinking, not all the stories, because some stories they are quite obvious, and some others, I mean, it requires more time to think. So I like stories like this, and that's why I doubt that in the future there could be deeper stories. I mean, stories that can surpass this one. Because if it will surpass Shingeki no Kyojin, it has to be of a high level. That means I really hope that it happens. But for the moment, I can't find a story that takes you hours and hours and hours of thinking, of discussing, of analyzing things. I still can't find it. Maybe if I can find one, yeah, listen, wait. If I can find one, it could be Evangelion. Absolutely. And there is something connected to Evangelion later. Another story that you can talk quite a lot about could be Vinland Saga. Another story that you can keep going on talking can be Berserk, or even um, Devilman. I mean, these story that they have uh, not just the surface, but even the will to analyze each character, to understand the connection of all the story, to have a intricate plot. Uh, yeah, there are stories that let you think more than others, absolutely. But right now, I think that, yeah, Vinland Saga is the one, recently speaking, I'm saying, as an anime. I'm talking about anime, I'm not talking about manga. But as an anime, because I don't follow manga specifically, but yeah, as for an anime, and I still have to watch season two, I think that Vinland Saga has this heaviness of meanings and these will for you to stay there and analyze things about life, how to handle life, how to try to change your life. Yeah. By the way, sorry. Oh, you are correct. I hope so. Killing him. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. That was the way to direct everyone to that goal for sure. Yeah. I believe you are on the same. That would be so nice to be on the same path as Isayama. But thank you for the compliment. It's one of those things I don't think even he fully understands, but he can be all correct. He said it inside. Yeah, I read that interview. Yeah, I read it. He didn't accept it to take off like it did, and it felt like he had too much power. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But when we will reach that scene, that controversial scene, we will talk about it. I just wish people would stop attacking each other over how they feel about the ending. Ah, yeah, but in fact, that's stupid, you know. I mean, there are people who will appreciate this ending, and there are people who will never appreciate it. So, um, I agree with you. We should stop quarreling about the ending because that's what the author chose. So mm, I don't think we can ask him to modify it, or at least he already tried a little bit to modify some sentences between the manga and the anime here because he wanted to make some statements clearer. So I think that he already did what he could. But right now to try to debate on what was right to do, what was not right to do, I find this completely pointless. The story ended, and you can guess in your mind or you can imagine in your mind a probable ending that you would have liked. But that wouldn't be his story. I mean, that would be your story. So if you didn't like the finale, I mean, if you didn't like the ending, it's okay because we are all different, so we can't have the same opinions on that. But to stay here and try to debate, oh no, come on, the ending should have been this, the ending should have been that. It's pointless. The ending is this. Do you like it? Yes. Do you not like it? Okay, fine. Anyway, hope you enjoyed throughout this amazing story because that's the point. I mean, to me, yes, no matter what the finale would have been, to me, the journey is more important. I mean, there are stories that I follow that even if sometimes it might happen that I don't like the ending, I liked what I saw through I mean, in order to reach the ending. Because if you cut for a second chapter 139 till 138, that's pretty meaningful to me. I mean, it has such great subjects involved that even if you skip 139 chapter, the meaningful parts of this story and what it tries to tell you throughout this story, it's pretty amazing. I mean, the fact that probably history will repeat over and over again, they are saying it even before 139. They are saying it while even Niccolo is trying to tell Gabi um, and all Sasha's relatives that they have to keep going on trying. It will be hard, but they have to try to keep going on to go out from the forest. That's the same thing. I mean, you don't need 139 to reach these understandings. So this is just an example, of course, but there are multiple subjects involved in this story that not necessarily are involved in 139, but that doesn't mean that the story is all pointless just because of 139. So that's what I'm saying. The story is powerful as it is by itself without an ending because actually even the ending is opened. So that doesn't mean that what you saw so far is meaningless just because there is an open ending, right? So sometimes I think that, yeah, look, even it really connects even to what Armin is trying to say to Zik. I don't know if today I'll be able to analyze it. I'm trying my best, but I wanted to talk about everything in these analyses, everything, and without a schedule. You know that I don't have schedules, and I don't like having schedules. But yeah, I mean, even what Armin is saying to Zik, appreciate the moments that make your life being lived. That's the same thing. Throughout this story, you can't appreciate just the ending. Appreciate what you captured throughout the story and make those points pretty meaningful. So, what you have done, that means live 10 years with this story, will not be meaningless. So, I think that what's said in the story, it can be reflected even in real life, even into your life. And if you pay attention on the ending only to define a story, you're limited. That's my opinion. I mean, that's what I think. The ending can be the perfect climax, yes. But throughout the story, we had a great climaxes here. So we can't say, no, this story matters just because at the end should have been the peak. No, we had the peak in many parts of this story. So we can't deny the fact that this story is great even without the ending. Absolutely. Then the ending is a great plus to me because I liked the ending as it was. But just because of the ending that is wrong for other people, we can't erase 138 chapters. That's ridiculous to me. Also, because some subjects involved in the other chapters can live by themselves. I mean, they can be there without an ending because they are already expressing you some sort of messages that can be conveyed even without the ending. Sorry, I'm just reading your comments. I just okay. It's just another form of a war. Uh, he can't stop it. It was always going to happen. We are human. Yeah, exactly. There are some subjects involved in this ending that are heavy to discuss because it will take hours. That's why I called it endless analysis because it will take quite a lot of time for me to discuss about all these things. But I'm happy that I'm doing this because even if I mean I'm not paying attention on viewers and how many views these analysis is having, I'm just doing it for fun. I'm just doing it because I enjoy. I absolutely enjoy what I'm saying. I'm absolutely enjoying how I describe things. So I really like the way in which I'm doing this thing because I appreciate this story, and if this helps other people to enjoy the story and to check it and to love it, I'm so happy for that. But that doesn't mean that um, I need a million subscribers or a million views to be accomplished, to feel accomplished, or to feel recognized. The important thing is that I recognize the story and then I recognize myself for the things that I'm saying. So I like that you enjoy who are here and who follow me. You are enjoying all these, and when I will open the manga, maybe you will enjoy more because I will make a contrast between anime and manga. I will analyze artistically speaking Isayama's drawings. I will analyze the scenes, I mean, the moments that were cut from the manga to the anime and vice versa. Um, so there are a lot, and I will be able to recreate other opinions about the story too. So definitely I do this because I like to do this, and not because of the revenue. I mean, and not because of the feedback. Because if I had to do this for the feedback, I would have closed this the day after. I mean, but I'm here to enjoy with my own self. Let me tell you, I don't need a crowd of people watching me or saying, "Oh, you're right." Some people can even say, "No, look, you're totally wrong." But the discussion that is created from this makes me feel amazed because through the discussion, I can think more. So I'm not that type of person that says, "No, please don't tell me that I'm wrong," or "Don't tell me other views because I don't want to hear it." No, 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 no. I definitely like when people are involved in this and they can show me a different point of view so I can learn. So, and it's proved that sometimes I was wrong in this story. I was guessing the wrong things, and I'm happy for that because if I was guessing all right, it was a huge problem. It means that maybe I'm connected to Isayama mentally speaking. That's wrong. We are all different with different thoughts. I mean, some things were correct, yes, and I'm happy that I was right, but some other things were wrong. So um, it's completely natural, completely good enough. Exactly. People just don't seem to get that it doesn't belong to them. It's his story to tell. Exactly. Um, I can write a book tomorrow and people can agree or not, but it's always my story. I can read a novel that was written 2000, sorry, not 2000, 200 years ago or 300 years ago, and I can like it or not, but the emotions that you felt throughout reading this story, that means I agree with that character, I don't agree with the other character. In this episode I tried to stand on this side, and the other episode, maybe I was easily judging him. I like him now. All these emotions that are created matter because they let you understand what you think, what you believe in. They are like defining what you are and what you think. So they definitely matter, except for the finale. That's what I believe. When you read a book, you don't read the book just because of the ending. You read a book because throughout the other pages, you can recognize yourself, you can go against some characters. I mean, you can define your personality, and that's great. Then the ending is a plus, is something that comes as an end of a story. But not all the stories can have a perfect ending because perfection doesn't exist. It can be perfect for me, but so disgusting for you. Um, but what I'm trying to underline is that um, each author has the right to write what he believes. Then, can it be discussed? Can it be? Can it go against your feelings? Absolutely, yes. But that's the beauty, because maybe if you can create a story that is even better than Isayama's, I'm here. I mean, I can't wait that you can create the perfect story. But I don't believe so. Um, I mean, I don't believe you can create something perfect. You can create something better than Isayama. That's absolutely comprehensible. But try. If you think that you have better ideas, this story makes you understand that you don't need it to draw perfectly. You don't need to be a perfectly drawer to convey some messages or to create a story that matters. So you can try as much as he tried. You can also try to become better than him. But I think that in order to become a better than him, you first read his story and maybe took even some inspiration for your story. So the fact that Shingeki no Kyojin is inspiring, it's undeniable to me. To my point of view, it's undeniable that this story is not inspiring. No, I mean this story is inspiring others. Thankfully, um, I feel the same way. Even if I hate it. Okay, yeah. See, Levish, you hated the ending. Good job. Which I loved it. The journey is more important to me. Okay, okay. See, that's good that we have different opinions here. I mean, you didn't like the ending. I did it. I mean, I really liked this ending. But it's good that we try to understand what's more important, and try to um, give the right importance to things. I'm not saying that the ending is not important. I'm saying it's important. You loved the ending. Sorry, sorry. Even if I didn't. Okay, sorry, sorry. But let's pretend that you didn't like it for a second. Um, that's good that if people without liking the ending can understand that throughout these 10 years they enjoyed them, throughout these 10 years they had they had to wait for the new chapter, so they felt excited, or they had to wait for the episodes and they felt excited. They enjoyed with other friends thanks to this story. They spent time to analyze it. They did what they liked to do. And this is already a sort of an investment emotionally speaking, because you invested your feelings in these, no matter if the result is what you expected or not. Throughout the 10 years when you didn't even know the finale, I mean the ending, you were enjoying, you were hoping that the new chapter or the new episode was coming out, or you were talking to your friends about it, or you created new friendships because of that. So see, from these things, not just the bad ending was a result, but even the good things came from these. And I can definitely admit it. For example, even the fact that I joined the special event 2 times, for me it was something great, because without this story, I wouldn't have the possibility to do so, to wait for that moment, to enjoy it, to tell you my opinions after. So, as you can see, the ending is just a chapter. I mean, to me, is not something. Uh, I don't want to say it's not fundamental, because anyway, if a story has a good ending, in my opinion, and it's quite coherent, it means that the story was having a beginning and an end based on coherence. In that case, yeah, I mean, to me, the story was pretty coherent. And I understand when Isayama said that he thought about this from the beginning, because you can clearly see the coherence, to start with the protagonist who lost everything, and because of his sentiment he turns unfortunately into something evil, I mean into something bad, doing bad things. And so the offended person, I mean the victim that it turns into the aggressor, this is pretty coherent to me. And that's why I see that Isayama planned it from the beginning, some sort of these things. The fact that then later he sometimes modified it to create chapter after chapter, this is okay because this is what happens. I mean, I can have an idea when I'm 19 because he was 19 when he started, okay? And he finished the 10 years after. So, of course, things can change throughout the years. Opinions can change based on your own experience because you grow up too. So, you can't have maybe the same visions as before. Um, but absolutely, I think that um, this story is his story, and we can appreciate it till the end, or we can appreciate half, we can appreciate three quarters of it, we can appreciate the beginning, maybe just the episode one, because it gives you some sort of vibes that other stories at the beginning couldn't give you. Everyone is free. See, everyone should be free. But when they say, no, the ending is wrong because the ending should have been this, okay, you are free of thinking something like this, but you think that the author should have felt limited to do what you wanted, and you are limiting him. You are putting him in a cage, but he wants to be free. So, as you can see, you can be free absolutely to say you don't like it, but the fact that some people say the ending had to be like this and not how he did, that's a limitation to me. And as a paradox, it goes against the story itself, but okay. I love the way you enjoy this. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy. It doesn't matter how much many people I can reach. I enjoy. Yeah, yeah. Imagine having to wait a month between episodes. Yeah, it was tough for us who read the manga, but it gave us time to theorize, and unfortunately, that caused a lot to create their own ad canon. Yeah, absolutely. You theorize, etc., etc. But even anime only, even if they didn't read the ending, like myself, we kept theorizing until the end, and it was pretty entertaining. I really loved that. That's why a lot were upset when it ended and didn't end the way they wanted. So sorry for them. Would you believe there's a huge subset of people that tried to write their yes, the Requiem. Yes, yes, I know that they are writing their story, their side story. And see, it's called a side story, so it's not the story. But yes, I know them. I mean, I've heard of them that they are creating an alternative finale. If it's a fan fiction, I mean, yeah, it's a side story, or it's not even a side story. Let's call it a fan fiction. And if it's a fan fiction, it's okay. I mean, if they like to imagine a new finale, but to say that their finale is the real one and the Isayama's one is not the real one, that's stupid. I mean, I don't know what they say. I'm just theorizing. If they say that, yeah, it could be an alternative finale. We enjoyed the Shingeki no Kyojin so much that we are trying to do something different. Okay. But if they say that their finale is the right one and what Isayama portrayed or described was something foolish, no, I don't agree. Absolutely. I get that I still just don't get the hate of opinions. Like I said, like I said though, that's a humanity war. Yeah, I hope in the end most of them to at least appreciate the little moments they had with everyone. Absolutely, yes. Okay, sorry for this long digression about the ending. But now it's time to go back. Look, I still have 1 more hour to stay here with you. So, yeah, John is now telling Mikasa. Thank you, Levish, for this long conversation. I really appreciate it. These keep commenting if you want. No, 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 no. I enjoy because this is an endless analysis. So don't worry, we didn't waste the time. We said, I think that we said something propositive. So if you have other ideas or if you have other questions, feel free to ask me or feel free to start a new conversations because that's why we are here. We are not here just to analyze, or thanks to different conversations, we can even analyze the story. So everything is perfect. Thank you. Okay, so John is saying to Mikasa, it's time to kill Eren. The fact that John is the one saying this, you have to remember that Eren saw everything already. Or not everything, partially, but did he see, for example, John saying to Mikasa, kill him? We will never know. But we also know that between Eren and John, there was not such a great relationship. Okay, they love each other as friends. And we all know that because Eren said it multiple times. I mean, he said it even not just when he's promising them, not promising, he's wishing them a long life. But he was also saying that he cares so much about John too in that amazing sunset scene when they are going back to Paradise after creating the railways. So it's undeniable the fact that John loves Eren and vice versa. But the fact that Mikasa is involved, also because of the things that he's saying after. Okay, but anyway, let's check this scene. Let's go. Wait a second. Okay. If you noticed, when John is saying this sentence, let's kill Eren, he is not even looking at her. He's closing his eyes because he doesn't even want to see Mikasa's face when he is saying this. Also, because if you remember in season 4, part 2, John was the one who was trying to protect Mikasa while all the others were against her or against what she tried to do. Uh, if you remember when they were even in the jail in Paradise, while they were waiting for the battle to start between Reiner and Eren, John was the one who was trying to comfort Mikasa quite a lot. John was the one who was starting understanding Eren's plan about going against Mikasa and arming on purpose to push them away from him. And John was the one who was saying to Mikasa, look, but what did he tell you? And Mikasa didn't want to answer. Do you remember that scene? And then he was saying, I don't think that Eren would have said such meaningful things without a purpose. So I think that right now for John is pretty hard for not even looking at Mikasa while he is asking her if we can kill Eren. I mean, let's kill Eren. I really liked this choice to show John with his eyes closed because he cares about Mikasa and he doesn't even want to look of her reaction. This is pretty powerful to let you understand how much he cares about her and how much he is asking her for something in that moment quite impossible to believe that it's possible. And he feels ashamed of asking her something like this because he really knows how much she cares about Eren and the respect that he has always had of this feeling. He feels that he is stepping on her feeling, but he has to do it because There's no other way. If he's not trying to convince her somehow, and see, even in this case, this story tells you that this story is all about conventions. I am trying to convince that person, and we are convinced that Marley was the first one to attack, and Marlians believe, and they are convinced that Alien was the first one to attack, and Eren convinced Grisham, and Mikasa is convinced by Armin of some words, and Armin is convincing Eren through this book about these external convictions. Can we be convinced totally by others? Yes or no? Are we going to choose personally what we are going to do or not? Can we be able to choose something, or everything is already predestined or already written? The mystery of life. And Mikasa is speechless. I mean, everyone in that moment is telling her honestly, brutally honestly. Levi's saying, "Oh, we can't have the luxury to think about Eren anymore, or we should have not to think about it from the beginning." Connie's saying, "But what? Come on! If it was not for Falcon and it was a miracle, we would have been dead already." Jan, kill Eren. I mean, Mikasa feels that she's reaching her bottom. As much as at the same time, Armin is reaching his bottom. But as I told you yesterday, when characters reach their bottoms, it means that it's something good because they can't go under that bottom. They reached it. So the only thing to do is try to arise instead of descend more. And this is great. This is, I told you already yesterday, a good metaphor for Japanese people to fall down and then be able to stand up again. So I think Mikasa now reaches her bottom for real, and there's no way back. One more time, she is understanding there's no way back. We can't avoid what's going to happen. But as much as I said both yesterday and even today, someone is stopping this conversation, that it's already pretty cruel to her. And who is this person? The person is Annie. Why Annie? Because she really understands Mikasa. These great aliens keeps going on, and I really appreciate this, not because we are talking about a feminist sentences or a feminist discussion. No, I'm just praising the fact, as much as I praised yesterday Reiner and John together, today I wanted to praise Annie and Mikasa, because Annie reached the perfect moment to stop this cruel discussion and turn it into a relief for Mikasa. She, in fact, is saying, concentrate on rescuing Armin. Don't think about anything else. And this is a way of helping her. She is, even if, even Annie, she's pushing Mikasa and she's grabbing Mikasa on her shoulder like that. But it's her nice way of telling her, don't think about it now. Erase it for this moment. There will be the time to suffer. It will come later. But now, push away Move away that thought from your mind. She is the kindest. Because let me tell you, all the others who understand Mikasa's feelings, of course, Mikasa is selfish in that moment. Yes, I forgot to tell you this. Of course, Mikasa, as all human beings, is selfish in that moment because she is still thinking about Eren when everyone is dying. And of course, the others get angry because they say, "Oh, come on, Mikasa, we are dying. Okay, that you love Eren, but don't be selfish like that." And as a paradox, the others are selfish too because they want that Mikasa forgets about her love and she kills him. So Connie, if Sasha was there, would you have liked to kill her? No, because he is not involved right now, emotionally speaking. John, if there was a Sasha and someone is pushing you to kill her, would you have liked to do it? That's easy for you to talk in that way because you're not emotionally completely involved. Levi, if they asked you to kill Hanji or to kill Petra, for example, was it too easy for you to do it? I don't know. These are just examples to let you understand that the only one who tries to rush things right now, but tries even to understand Mikasa's feelings, is Annie. Everyone is expecting too much from Mikasa in this moment. Even if Mikasa is selfish right now, no one is putting himself in her position that she has to go there with a knife, or sorry, with a sword, and cut his neck. Nobody is understanding this. And even Annie previously pushed her 2 times. But Annie understood that the more you push Mikasa in that way, the more she's not going to be convinced to do it. She pushed her when she was all around, when they were all around the fire, and she was directly asking Mikasa, "Are you ready to kill him? If that's the case, can you do it?" That's already number one. Number two, when they were on the ship after Maggot's sacrifice, that Annie once again is asking her, "Are you ready to do it, Mikasa, if there is no other choice?" Push number two. But Annie realized that if you use this behavior towards Mikasa, you are just creating her more pain. You should leave Mikasa to have the proper time to figure things out and then be her by herself to choose things. Every time Mikasa throughout this story, she was pushed by others to do things, and Eren even let her believe that what she was thinking were not her own thoughts, but she was deciding these things based on her devotion to Eren. Now Mikasa has to make a step forward. Mikasa has to understand that when she's choosing something, it's because she is choosing it, and not because others are telling her what to do. She has her own time, and that time has to be respected. Even in a situation like this, you can't push her because if you push her, she's not doing it because of her will. And that's why Ymir was waiting for a person like Mikasa. Because Ymir didn't want to choose, has always stepped back from choosing, because something else was more important. That means love. But Mikasa will choose. She will have her own time to choose. And she will do it. Because even if in some cases, especially in this moment, Mikasa seems to be Ymir, then he's always saying, no, 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 no. The difference will be made when there is that different dimension. When she's saying, okay, I will analyze it even later, but when she's saying, I don't think that it's good that I am here. She chose already in that moment. Because she could, if she was Ymir, like Ymir, she would have said, "Oh, let me stay in this dimension forever with my beloved Eren." No. In that moment, she's choosing. She's saying, "I don't feel that it's right that I am here." So Ymir was waiting for Mikasa also for this, because even if it took a little bit of time, of course, it took maybe more time than Ymir, because Ymir died, and then she kept being a slave of all this population of Ymir for 2,000 years for the same reason. So if we talk about being enslaved of love, Ymir has a long path rather than Mikasa. But I'm saying to act while she is still alive. To Mikasa, it took more time, but then she's choosing. So I definitely think that Mikasa is the real protagonist of this story, and I'm happy that it has to be like this. Because, okay, I will tell you when we arrive in that moment what I think, but I was happy to understand it months ago when I told you already. I think that Mikasa is the real protagonist of this story. The beauty of the world that kills the cruel world that is facing the cruel world, and then it's purifying, let's say, is trying to purify the cruel world. Will she be able to make it forever? No, of course not. But for her story, personal story, the beautiful world triumphs. For the world history, there will always be both beautiful world and cruel world. But now, right now, we have to judge their story. That is just a small fragment of the entire life of this earth. In that fragment of earth, of years, in that fragment that it's called their story. I'm not talking about the 2,000 years before. I'm talking about those few years that they live, their lives. The beautiful world triumphs. Then the fact that other wars are happening, the fact that 2,000 years ago the wars happened, and then the fact that even after, yes, this is undeniable. But regarding Mikasa's story, regarding her life and her friend's life, the beautiful world triumphs at the end. By the way, let me go ahead. I like, even when Mikasa is showing to Annie her tears, and Annie she is recognizing the hard moment she's living right now. Because in the previous episode, the same thing happened, vice versa. That means Annie, that was blushing, that was having almost a tear here when she was talking about Armin and leave behind. To step back, and Mikasa was there understanding her. See, one more time, the I wanted to express this. Annie was listened by Mikasa. Now it's Annie's turn to hear Mikasa, to listen to her, to try to understand her. Because even if Mikasa didn't use lots of words when she was trying to listen to her, she was there to listen. And now Annie is repaying the favor to her. That's awesome. Because Even if at that time, while they were around the fire, she was imposing her idea, saying, "Look, Mikasa, I ask you to kill Eren for my people, for my father." She was too, I mean, she was imposing. But later, after, the comprehension came in, and they could create a friendship that is based not on too many words, but too much empathy. And I really like these two girls together. I see. Even when she says, I mean, when Annie says, don't think about anything else yet. And Mikasa is looking at her. "Uh, she's following. She's trusting what Annie says. Because if actually, in fact, even if they split, Eren will not die yet. Many other things have to happen in the meantime until she will be the one who's killing him. So Annie, so somehow it was right. It was right to trust Annie in that moment because nothing happened later. Of course, they don't know. There was the risk, surely, but later we understand that Annie was right. That in that moment, nothing bad to Eren would have happened, but later she was the one who was killing him. See, John kept his eyes closed for a long time. Then he reopened his eyes because Reiner was giving him the sword. But until that moment, John kept staying with his eyes closed because he knew the heaviness of what he asked to Mikasa. And it was too hard to watch for him. All the others were not saying anything. So once again, I wanted to praise this silence, that it's in between. After what Annie says, there is another silence. Because you can't say anything else. You can't express in words anything else. Words could destroy more that moment. So it was better not to say anything. Silence can speak for itself. Oh. Okay. So now we go back to the Marlians who are trying to find new weapons to attack uh, the Shunbi no Kyojin because they followed Muller's suggestion. And now there is another powerful scene, in my opinion. See, even in this moment, that all the others from Paradise they are trying to fight the Shubi no Kyojin. These Marlian soldiers, they see the not the refugees, but the Eldians, the people, Eldians living in Marley. The first thing they do is pointing the gun, and they say, "Aliens!" See, until we reach a tremendous tragedy, people don't understand that they are sharing the same tragedy in that moment. And they don't want to share that pain. They still prefer to go one against the others. In this case, I'm talking about Marleyan soldiers. Let me tell you, they are totally wrong. Instead of wasting their time to go against aliens, they should have found a way, a compromise to listen what they had to say. And this makes you understand that the speech that Mueller had in the previous episode was totally heard by them. Totally. Do you remember? In at the end of the previous episode, Mueller was over there standing and talking and saying beautiful things. Let me go and pick it up for a second. Let me go and check 1 second another thing, because I think that I will change the thumbnail for today because I didn't have time to reach that scene, but for sure I will reach it. I will reach it tomorrow for sure. Let me just check one thing. Da, 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 da. In the meantime, I put the. Okay, I will choose another thumbnail because I thought that there was more time to. Which one I can choose? Well, okay, but let me see later. I want to pick for a second what I'm saying. Wait a second. The previous episode, Mueller's speech, because that's important. These Marley soldiers, they don't understand anything. They didn't get it. This is even worse. Where is it? Here we go. Yes, let me reach the last minutes of the previous episode. That is part 3 of the final season. Is it here? Oh, wait, sorry. Where is it? Here. Just a second. Exactly, we are here. Okay, and for until here, it's okay. Let's say. Okay, wait. This fortress will be the last bastion left to humanity, Mueller is saying. But then the pressure weighing down on your shoulders is immeasurable. But no matter the result, the responsibility doesn't lie solely with you. There's the responsibility for this lies with all of us adults. Or when Mueller is talking, he's not just talking to Karina and all the other aliens living in Marley. He's even talking to his soldiers. Okay, wait. We took advantage of you, instilled and fostered it, believing it would bring us salvation. All the problems arising from our faults we dumped onto the island of devils. As a result, that monster was born. That means the Shubino Kyoto. And now it's marching our hatred right back towards us. If by some miracle we manage to have a future again, I vow to never repeat the same mistake. And then, well, okay, Karina. Mueller was talking to everyone because he had the speaker. I mean, Mueller was not talking just to Karina, Annie's father, the Gabi's parents, I mean, all the aliens living in Marley. Now, he was taking responsibility for himself, for the soldiers, for the aliens living in Marley adult generation. And now these soldiers, after they heard that speech from Mueller that was amazing because he is letting them understand the problems they made. No, now the Marley soldiers, one more time, are aliens! I'm speechless. See, the convictions that people have are really difficult to be erased after a speech. But even if it was after a speech, you understand the situation, you understand the tragedy that is portrayed in front of you. So, how can you waste your time as a soldier to point a gun to people and saying again, after all this time, you are aliens? Let's go back now to the episode of now. And listen, of course, even the aliens living in Marley now, they are pointing their gun at the same. I mean, after they see the guns pointed at them, they are trying to defend themselves. In fact, Annie's father is saying, "We came here just for receiving a treatment, a medical treatment for our injuries." And I say, listen, these Marian soldiers, they said, we don't have time for this. But how can you become? I mean, how can you make a difference? It means you didn't hear anything from what Mueller said before. Okay, that you don't have time because you have to prepare the counterattack and everything. But why do you have to behave like this with these people? Because there shouldn't be differences anymore. They are people. Again. What's your real objective? It seems to go back to Grisha when he was a little kid, let's say. Come on. I know, actually, this reminds me when Grisha was holding Zeke, do you remember? And he was inside a tower, I don't remember, with Dinah. And then that maintenance, the man that was responsible to the maintenance of that building came out and he was saying, "Ah, you're aliens. What's your objective?" or something like that. "What's your purpose here?" Same, same. Ah, again. Yes, but if you keep talking about these things, we will never solve anything. And of course, this is the perfect portrait of human beings. Sorry that I moved the camera a little bit. This is the perfect portrait of how human beings say words, but then when it's about to make facts, they don't do them. All beautiful words. We will never repeat the mistakes as before. We will. When it's about to prove it with the facts, no, because we can't trust Marlians. Oh, yes, because you took us to the front line on that time. But what's your real objective on the other side? Look, in Latin language, Latin people said scripta manent, verba volant. That means if it's something written, it will stay over there. It will be kept. Words fly. It's correct. That's what's happening here. They think that they have understood something that is a great principle of life, but when it's about to put these words into action, they don't do it. And human beings are these. They are also these. They say many things, but then when it's about to put those things into facts, it's pretty hard. Or you understand that they don't really mean those words. Because if you really mean them, then you put them into action. Even the train conductor, he was betraying the aliens. I mean, even the train conductor is passing on the side of the Marlians because, of course, maybe he was betraying them. And in fact, Annie's father was speechless. He was like, "Conductor, from which moment did you stand on their side?" See, the corruption, the corruption, the selfishness, um, the way in which people say things, but they don't respect them through facts. Human beings, human beings. So even if Eren dies, nothing will change. This is for sure. This is something that is obvious to me, but even to you. But this is a clear example. They are all risking their lives, and they see the Shubino Kyojin in front of them. What they are wasting their time for? To fight again Marlians versus aliens? Ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And then Mueller comes. I really like him. As much as I like the Magath at the end, I like Mueller too. The silence, again, the silence that is anticipating such an important moment. And then Mueller is shooting, but he's not shooting at them. He is doing exactly like Jan when he was supposed to shoot on Yankopon. Same thing. Same thing. So Mueller is exactly like Jan in that moment when Jan was about to shoot to Onyankopon because of the Jaegerist's will. He didn't do it. Mueller is doing exactly the same thing. He is shooting, but he's not shooting at them. To let them understand that once for all they need to understand how to change. But they needed to change to put those words into facts. Because until they keep talking only, they will never solve anything. Thank you, Avish. See you, and thank you so much for being here with me. In fact, Gianni is saying people are keep trying still to kill each other. I mean, What a waste. I mean, I would feel like John in this moment. What a waste. We are risking our lives to change things for humanity, and look at them, they keep fighting over there. That's ridiculous. But this makes you understand that even if they save humanity, as much as I told you months before, hey, you can't change entire humanity for entirely. I mean, you will never be able to change everyone. So it's obvious that after Eren's sacrifice is done, then in the future other wars will come. Because people who keep going ahead with their convictions without being able to change their mind, they will produce wars again and again based on their convictions, based on their beliefs. Beliefs can control people's mind. And that's what happened to Eren too, because he was convinced to do things based on beliefs. That means, until we reach to that scene, I will tell you even now, that Eren showed how human he was. Because we human beings are like this. We all are convinced of something. We all have an opinion on something. We all believe into something. And when someone else is against our beliefs, we see them as, I don't want to say antagonists, but we see them as, okay, he is against what I think. So, we human beings have a big problem. We don't like when other people have different opinions. Or let's say, when we see that other people have a different opinion, we don't like to discuss about it. We just put a limit, we just put a wall in front of these people. Because we think that it's better if everyone keeps his or her opinion without even discussing about it. That's what's happening here in this story. Same. Eh, and now Falco against all of these Titan forms who are using their archers to throw the arrows against him. Look, I have to make a standing ovation for Falco, because even if he was using these Kyojin, I mean these Joe Titan for few times, he is using this Titan pretty well. Let me tell you honestly, I really liked how he managed to help everyone survive. How essential his role was in this moment. And absolutely, if there was not Falco here, I don't know how the story would have gone on, sincerely. See, look at how he flies through all these arrows. And then there is even not a spear. Oh, yeah. Amazing. Now, Falco is helping Reiner going to transform again. Ah, amazing. I don't remember who said these words. Let me see if I can recollect my memory. But when Mikasa Connie are looking, and Connie is saying, Reiner, please don't die. First of all, once again, I open a bracket. I like these so much because um, even Connie, as much as John did with the scene that we analyzed yesterday. He is recognizing Reiner part of the team once for all. He is recognizing Reiner as a friend once for all. So both John and Connie had the chance to say out loud the fact that Reiner is their friend and he doesn't have to die. But even a Reiner that is saying, "You two guys, don't die," that's amazing because it's a direct response to what they are saying. That means it's like as if Reiner is also saying, "You are my friends too, so don't die." Uh, and when you are afraid to die, you are saying the words you have never said before. Keep it in mind what I'm saying, because in the future, when we reach the scene between Armin and Eren, I will say the exact same thing. I really believe that when you're about to die, you think what you have never thought before, you say what you have never said before. You are in a moment in which you know that you're risking your life for real, and maybe there is no other time to say some things. So the fact that now here Connie and both Reiner are saying don't die, that's amazing, because these reflects not only their fears of losing each other, but even to make a statement, a confirmation of their friendship. And this is quite amazing. But I don't remember who said the same thing, "Don't die, Reiner," before. Or Reiner said to someone else, "Don't die." Probably it was Falco with Reiner, when Falco was trying to look at Reiner that was almost dead after Eren and Reiner's battle. No, sorry, after Eren transformed into the Shingeki no Kyojin, making the Liberius attack. Later, after we know that Reiner protected Falco in that case. And I remember, maybe, if I'm not wrong, that Falco told Reiner while he was still unconscious, "Please don't die," or something like that. But I remember that someone else said this. I needed to remember. I needed to remember. Oh, we needed to remember that Reiner is against all of these Hammer Titans by himself. Super strong. And then, ooh, Valriad and Marcel against John, who are trying to stop him because he wants to let Eren's neck be exploded. Yes, look, this is the only moment in which we can laugh before the end. No, two times we can laugh in this episode. One surely is this moment in which Peak is saying, "Ah, if I could walk as all human beings," because we know that she can't, especially after the transformation, right? And we needed to admit even a Pig's strength because the amount of times in which she's transforming one after the other one, wow. I've never felt that the Carter Titan was that strong. So I'm happy that I mean, usually we think that the main Kyojin that we all know, the Colossal, the Shingeki, the Armor, they are the most important titans, let's say. I mean, the titans that we consider the strongest. But here, Peak was showing us that even if she's a card titan, she can be so strong. And I like that this decision to show even how strong Peak is as a titan form. Wow. Ah, yeah. Not exactly. Actually, Pika throughout the seasons showed that she's strong and she's not giving up. Definitely, she could survive even the thunder spear that was sent exactly in front of her face during the Liberia's attack. So she's pretty strong. But I like when she's underlying that just because people have a sort of idea regarding the Carter Titan, that doesn't mean that it evaluates the Carter Titan itself. So I like that people had a certain vision of it, and now she's demonstrating that the Carter Titan is more than they have seen so far. Wow. Even when you see that John tries with the swords to avoid these titans, and then he is sent, I mean, he's um, saved by the ODM, but at the same ODM gear, but at the same time, he is looking down and he sees all of these colossal titans marching. And it's like as if he is uh, hanged. I don't know how to express this, but it's like as if he is, by being hanged over there, watching all these titans marching over and over again. It's like as if he is in a situation that he doesn't know if he is on top of this skeleton anymore or he is reaching the colossal titans down below himself. So that's a great scene. I liked how Mappa represented this moment of uncertainty because we don't know if John can reach it, if John can make it, etc., etc. So I really liked this instability that it was delivered thanks to this scene. But Peak is at the same time really honest with herself because she's saying, though 100 victories won't do much against 1 million enemies. At least they are all coherent and all sincere with themselves. All these characters, they are super honest with themselves and with the potential they have. And even yes, and then even the other scene that you see in which John is still hanged thanks to the ODM gear over there to the skeleton, and he is looking up and he's seeing Eren's face as a Shubino Kyojin, as a goal to reach, as something that seems to be so big that it seems impossible to be reached or impossible to be defeated. But look, even the smallest person can change things. So I like that these contrast between Jan being so small compared to the Shubin Kyojin that is so big, and it makes quite a lot. Eh sì, Annie is saying how they could make Bertold as a puppet. I can't forgive this. Eren is controlling him for sure. He is the founding titan, so there's no way that's something else. Of course, yes, Mikasa here is trying to describe the titan that englobed Armin, but she can't give a proper definition of what that animal or what that titan represents because she has never seen an animal like that before. And in fact, she's saying, ah, it's like a pig, because the pig, she knows what a pig is, surely, but she doesn't know how to describe the that prototype of Titan. See? Okay, and in fact, Annie said it's not a pig. It's not a pig. It's an okapi. But for sure, in Paradise, there was not an okapi before. So they would have never imagined, they would have never known what an okapi is. Try to remember even other previous scenes in which Paradis didn't know so many things. Even the flying boat, they didn't know what that was. For example, the trains, they didn't know what they were. So here, Mikasa is remarking the ignorance of Paradis, of not knowing what an okapi is. That it's not a pig, or yes, she's remarking how left behind they were based on the rest of the society of the world that in the meantime they evolved, they got different information while Paradis was left aside. um, and this reflects how ignorant they were. Yes. In fact, she's saying, "What the hell do I know about an okapi? I mean, how am I supposed to know about the okapi? I didn't know because I've never seen one. I have never known the existence of this prototype of animal, so I couldn't describe it better." Here we go. Annie is transforming too. And then the main question for Levi, the most important thing is where is Zeke? Because he doesn't appear. Yes. Where is he? Yes. And Levi here feels impotent because he almost reached the goal of killing Zeke. And now he is in these conditions, physical conditions. He can't believe it. With all of the battles he went through, why does he have to feel so powerless in this moment, now that he's reaching the most important mission of his life? Once he is reaching the promise that he has to keep, Levi feels that this is really unfair because there were so many other occasions in his life in which he could have almost died. and it didn't happen. That he could have lost an arm, and it didn't happen. And that he could have lost a leg, and it didn't happen. But especially now that we are talking about Zeke, now he feels powerless. So now he is, of course, thinking about his comrades. Exactly. He's saying, I've never failed to carry out one of his orders, not one. He's talking about Erwin, of course. But before going on with this beautiful speech, I prefer to stop here today because from tomorrow we have an important discussion to make that regards not only the thing that I put in the thumbnail. Sorry, I thought that I could have reached it, but I couldn't, sincerely. But we will be able to reach even the moment in which Levi is saying honestly that he doesn't have any regret by because of his choice. That means the fact that he chose Armin instead of Erwin at that time in season 3, part 2. So I prefer to end the live streaming now. I mean, to stop it right now because from tomorrow there are important things to say and heavy discussions to make. So in the meantime, I want first of all to thank you, to thank all of you for subscribing to the channel, to join these long, endless analyses as always. To create interactive discussions that are propositive and they are meaningful. That's the purpose of analyzing this story and to create analysis of anime like Shingeki no Kyojin. But in the meantime, yes, I want to see if I can find the perfect thumbnail to remake it because sincerely, uh, it's better if I find something else to put. Yes, yes, I can try to put the face of John. Let's see if I can go back for a second. Let's see. Okay, I think that I got the new thumbnail because I think that that's what was discussed here the most in this episode of the analysis. Let me modify already the thumbnail and then I will tell you bye bye because I think that it's a clickbait if I keep that thumbnail for nothing. That the thumbnail will come back next time or 2 times after because I think yeah, next time we will discuss about um, Levi's choice, etc., etc. Then there will be even the discussion between Zeke and Armin. So there are too many things that are so important to be discussed. If I'm not wrong, let me check for a second. Yes, exactly. There's even Armin. No, okay. Zika discussion comes after, so probably tomorrow I will use the same thumbnail as for today. But right now, I prefer to use another thumbnail that is more coherent. Let me just make it really quick. La la la. And then I say see you next time. Okay, season 4, part 4 analysis. Analysis part 3. I will put it here. Yes. Okay. Okay. I put John's face telling Mikasa that she has to kill Eren, so it's more coherent. Absolutely. Okay. So just a little bit more. Okay, here we go. Now I will upload it. Let me see if I can modify already the thumbnail from here. Can I? No, right? Can I or not? Oh, maybe I can. Okay, okay, let me change it directly. Okay, here we go. Yes, it's better. Yes. Okay. Okay, okay. I modified even the thumbnail, so now everything is perfect. It's definitely more coherent. Okay, guys. Yes, by I will stop right here. When let me put this back as I where I was. This is here. Okay, where is it? Ta-da-da-da. Okay, 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 okay. Yes, so one more time. Let me hear these scene. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, see, I want to say one last thing about Levi. Um, Throughout all of these story, we could count on Levi without even doubting that he was missing the point or that he was failing. We have always been certain of the fact that if Levi joins, it means that he will make it. And here, more than ever, you see, as much as we saw before, but here we see the fragility of a character like Levi's, because by knowing him throughout the story, where he was considered the one who had all of these great power, these Ackerman that can slaughter so many titans in a row, etc., etc., etc. As much as he did, even thanks to Erwin, he could do the impossible. But now he's guessing, will I be able to make it? Because throughout this time I made it, but will I be able to reach my goal, or will I be able to be perfect, let's say, even in this moment that is the most important moment, the crucial moment of his entire goal after Erin's death? We will see these next time, guys. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for staying here with me another day, and see you tomorrow with the part 4, in which we will discuss finally, I think, yes, we will discuss that amazing scene that we see with the baby. So stay tuned and keep on watching. Thank you so much, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye. See you.